Lunch and Learn is an MFG radio network production brought to you by GIE Media's Manufacturing Group. We highlight some of the latest innovations in manufacturing and design to help you gain insights to the newest products and technologies in the medical, aerospace, defense, and electric vehicle manufacturing industries to keep you ahead of the competition. I'm Jake Kaufman, a managing editor for today's medical developments, aerospace manufacturing and design, defense and munitions, and EV design and manufacturing. Today, we are joined by SMW Autoblok as they will break down how to utilize the correct work holding for your job, how to choose a work holding vendor, plus service and maintenance of your work holding. Now, SMW Autoblok is a work holding company focused on achieving customer goals and expectations with the highest quality products and services. SMW Autoblok combines stock standard product with a highly trained sales, service, and engineering team to consistently provide the ideal work holding solutions to customers across a wide variety of industries. The organization strives to achieve a deeper understanding of customer needs to provide products and services geared towards specific customer applications, maintaining long-term, mutually beneficial partnerships to enhance machine tools and drive modern manufacturing. Now, today's presenter, once again, is Larry Robbins, the president of the commercial division of SMW Autoblok. Larry joined SMW Autoblok in 2007 as a national sales manager and was appointed president in 2019. As president for SMW Autoblok's commercial division, Larry is responsible for all strategic sales and marketing initiatives, as well as overseeing SMW Autoblok's North American sales team and customer base, including machine tool dealers and OEMs. He also oversees various projects internationally. Larry has more than 35 years of experience in machine tool manufacturing, and prior to working for SMW Autoblok, he owned a successful manufacturer's rep company for 13 years. Larry's expertise in the machining industry began in his early youth when he worked side by side his father, who owned a prosperous distributorship in New York. So thank you for joining us today, Larry.
Jake, thanks so much as always. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to people about, what we do and what we do well. Work holding's always kind of been near and dear to my heart. I grew up in this industry. I always found work holding very interesting from the standpoint of you can look at 5 parts and see them made in 5 different locations. And the beauty is that you'll see them made 5 different ways. It doesn't mean any one way is better than any other one way. It just means everybody has different ideas and there are different ways to skin a cat, proverbially. What you'll see is SMW Autoblok has been, as Jake said, in business since 1941. We were founded as a small subcontractor to Fiat in Torino, Italy. And we still do a lot of work with Fiat in Torino, but someone was smart enough to look at what we did and say, hey, this would be a great commercial product. And sure enough, we came to market, and that was back in the late 40s, early 50s. And from that point on, our ownership has grown the company through either acquisition or just through attrition and growing the company naturally and organically. And we've gone from a company that was about $1 million in sales all the way up to a company last year, closed the year at about 350 to 400 million euro in sales. We're still privately owned. We're still owned by 2 gentlemen that live in the mountains in Italy. And we're starting to see the 3rd generation of management come into our company as we speak. I have a lot of information to share with you guys. Some of it's going to be by slides. Some of it's just going to be talking. I could make this a very quick, simple seminar. Work holding is a very, very kind of a subjective viewpoint, because you have to be able to look at a part and look at a piece of work holding and determine what's going to fit your application, not only today, but 5 years from now. People are under the misconception that you can buy a chuck today and 10 years from now you can go, oh, I'm going from a 6-inch diameter part to a 60-inch diameter part. I'll just put bigger jaws on the chuck. That's all well and good until you start throwing parts or, you're over the capacity of the chuck. And that kind of starts me off in my first subject. Be aware of what you're purchasing. It's easy for someone to come in and say, oh, yeah, I have a component that'll work for that. And then they sell it to you, walk away, and you see them the next time you want to buy something. I think what I'll do is I'll share with you guys just some information about our company as a whole. Again, SMW Autoblok has been around since the 40s. We have a very, very prestigious history in the work holding industry. Again, apologize for having to do this while you're all on screen, but I couldn't figure out before I got on screen how to do this without it. So Jake, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. I always try to ask. Just so you know, SMW Autoblok, again, we're the worldwide leading manufacturer of work holding for turning, milling, and grinding products. Over the years, we've either acquired companies, organically created new products, whatever the case may be. If you look, as we talked about, our company history, I always say 1941. Officially, it was 1942 by corporate standards, but 1941 is when our owner basically was told by Fiat that they should really look at becoming a commercial company. In the mid 60s, we began to expand into foreign markets. France, Germany, England were our first ventures outside of Italy, being all part of the European continent. It's easier for them. It was easier for them to travel and grow through what was normal to them. Over the years, like I said, we've grown from a single location, which was in Capri in Italy, which is a small village right outside of Torino, to be now about 14 or 15 different manufacturing facilities between Italy and Germany. And then around the world, we have 70 different subsidiaries in different countries that are directly owned by SMW Autoblok. And then we have a whole bunch of just agents that market our products. So as I said, we've either grown through organic growth or through acquisitions. One of our first and probably our most strategic acquisition was SMW Germany. SMW Span Systems GmbH was a company with a very, very storied history. They were the creators. You'll hear a lot of different stories, but we can prove it through patents and through just inventive drawings and things like that. We are the original quick draw change chuck people. The KNCS chuck was the original quick draw change chuck. It has been copied by many, many different companies. Has been changed little ways and with different features, but we still feel like we have a better mousetrap from the standpoint of, and this is kind of where I start with a word you'll probably hear me say an awful lot during this presentation: flexibility. Probably the number one thing to remember when you buy work holding is to be flexible. Make sure that your work holding has enough flexibility to not only deal with your challenges today, but your challenges moving forward and into the future. By acquiring SMW Germany, we became SMW Autoblok Corporation. That happened in 1994. And subsequently, we purchased older time companies like Mario Pinto. Mario Pinto used to be the largest specialty chuck manufacturer in Europe. OML was a large manufacturer of stationary work holding, is now part of the SMW Autoblok group, as is Tobler, Technomagnete, which became Mag Autoblok. And our newest division, which doesn't even show here, SMW Electronics, that's allowed us to take a step into the future. And I'll talk briefly about that as we go forward. But just to give you an idea, just moving through history, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this. You'll see, as I talked about, the acquisition of SMW Germany actually started in 1993, but was completed in 1994. Through that, we actually ended up with a subsidiary in Japan. We get asked this question all the time: what was our relationship with SMW Systems? SMW Systems in California was nothing more than an importer of our product. Over the years, they were acquired by ATS Systems. ATS Systems continues to market products around the world, or from around the world. They also still make collet chucks and things along those lines. But you'll see that we've acquired companies, we've created different organizations around the world to service different industries and different sectors of the marketplace. What they talk about is our major offices around the world, Italy and Germany. Italy is our headquarters. Again, we're an Italian-owned company. You'll see throughout this presentation. I can almost tell you who wrote this presentation. It was our German colleagues, because it talks about two headquarters. We have one headquarters. It's in Torino, Italy. We have dealers around the world who we consider agents in different countries. Actually, since this list was published, Denmark, Holland, Finland, Norway are now direct subsidiaries. Switzerland has a direct subsidiary. Philippines now has its own subsidiary. So you'll see that we've grown exponentially. Turkey is its own subsidiary now. So we continue to open offices around the world. Basically, our basic experience is in off-highway automotive, industrial equipment, which is nothing more than standard job shops, aerospace, oil and gas. Oil and gas used to be a largest part of our mix. It's also one of the products that SMW brought to our product line when they brought us steady rests and pneumatic chucks. We're the largest manufacturer in the world of steady rests and pneumatic chucks by a large percentage. If you look at Workholding as an overall, and I try to make this as little commercial as possible, it's kind of hard to do because I'm talking about my products, but we design every product with kind of these things in mind. It has to be modular, as modular as it can be. And you'll see that through setup reduction, quick draw change chucks, quick change fixture components, magnetic chucks. We make everything as modular as we possibly can to adapt to today's manufacturing needs. You know, when I started in this business, I was working on a Bridgeport and a manual lathe and a manual grinder. You know, I liken that now, the new technology in Workholding, I liken to the difference between operating a Bridgeport and a 5-axis machine with today's technology. Again, flexibility. Jake, if you're keeping count, that's number 2 that I've said flexibility now. Flexibility is utmost when it comes to Workholding. It used to be you would create a special product for a specific customer manufactured part, and as their product mix changed, they would buy another special piece of Workholding. If you do large high production runs, that's still kind of a standard in our industry, whether it be dedicated Workholding through a milling or a turning component. But even those should have flexibility, high accuracy and repeatability. That goes without saying. I always say that we're probably one of the most expensive products on the market. We never apologize for price because price and quality are generally not synonymous. If you have high accuracy and high quality and high repeatability, you generally are a more expensive product because you're made with quality in mind instead of value. We try to give the most value we can with the highest quality offering we can offer to our customers. With that in mind, we have customers that have chucks that are 35 years old and still hold 0.010 of an inch because they maintain them correctly. And that's something we'll cover also, because you can buy any piece of equipment in the shop. If you don't maintain it, it's just another piece of dumb steel. And when it breaks down, it becomes a very important piece of dumb steel. Constant grip force and clamping force. That's the challenge to any piece of Workholding. A lot of our new product is sealed and in an oil bath, and that's for a very specific reason. Sealed in an oil bath doesn't allow for outside contamination, and at the same time gives you more lubricity and better flow of lubrication through a piece of Workholding or a Workholding component. There are instances where grease works better. Again, that's dictated by product design and the way and the age of the product a lot of times. Energy savings, it's becoming an issue. You know, hydraulic power is not cheap to produce, nor is pneumatic power, because it's all produced by electricity. You will see that the next generation of Workholding is becoming less and less hydraulic and pneumatic dependent and more electrically driven. We have a full product line of electrically driven Workholding, whether it be a chuck, a vise, hybrid versions of it where you have hydraulic over electronics. So there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, and depending on how you're going to market, it allows you to determine what works best for your situation, again, with flexibility in mind. We strive for setup time to be at 0, with setup reduction becoming the key word since the 80s and 90s. Setup reduction basically is nothing more than generating your setup time to be outside of your manufacturing component. So if I have a setup station in front of a machine tool, or if I have a setup station table of some sort in front of a machine tool, while my spindle is doing its job and making components and making parts, I'm setting up outside the machine. So my changeover is very quick and accurate. We have systems that allow you to change over within 5 microns or 0.2 of an inch, 0.2 of an inch, excuse me. Most of our product line now is all proof line sealed. Anything you see with proof line in our product line is a hermetically sealed product. It allows you to get much longer run times between maintenance intervals. If you look at a standard piece of Workholding equipment that's unsealed, standard Workholding is something that's unsealed, open centers, closed centers, but with no sealing capacity. You should grease your chuck every 8 hours of operation, which is nothing more than 3 squirts of grease. You cycle the chuck 2 or 3 times, another squirt of grease, and you should be good for another 8 hours. With our proof line chucks, because they're sealed, you get up to 1,000 hours of maintenance-free operation, which means no greasing, no oil checks, no anything. We always tell people to be cognizant of the fact that you should always check your oil level or your grease level, because it's not an effective method to, when parts start getting thrown, that's when you check your grease or your oil, when you start to lose grip force. And last but not least is emotion. Emotion is our tagline for anything actuated outside of a hydraulic component. You will see that the last component on a machine tool that's generally hydraulic is a chuck. Most tailstocks and turrets have gone to electric actuation now, or servo-driven actuation. So that holding true, it allows us to go on with our next product selection to show you kind of what we do best. As I said, we talk about 2 headquarters. There's really only 1 headquarters. It's in Torino, Italy. We have 2 manufacturing centers, 1 in Italy, 1 in Germany. And again, between those 2 locations, we have about 14 different locations right now that manufacture different components of our products. We also have manufacturing in Asia. We have manufacturing in India and China for those specific markets. And the only thing they make in those markets right now is bodies, all the internal components, because that's the sweet spot in our product, or the secret to our product is still manufactured in Torino or in Mecklenburg, Germany. The other thing this gives you is an idea that we're a world-class company and we're worldwide. So we offer service around the world. So if you buy a product here today and it goes to Romania tomorrow, you don't have to worry about service in the end. We talk about philosophies. If you're buying Workholding, you should keep these philosophies in mind for any of your vendors. You should availability and costs. To the chagrin of our ownership, we have at any one point between $8 and $10 million worth of inventory in the United States. It allows us to provide customer-based solutions quickly, easily, and affordably without having to fly everything in from overseas. We're the largest manufacturers, we started talking about originally, of standard Workholding components in the world, which allows us to do a few things. What would be special for our competition or special for other companies is standard for us. We have a bunch of standard components that we put special top tooling or location components on, or mounting components on. We make that here in the United States, which controls costs, deliveries, and availabilities, of course. Service, we have a full service department. We have 2 service people in Illinois, and we are up to 4 service people in Texas, in our service center in Texas right now. We also have contractors around the country that we utilize in local markets out west and in the Southeast. Experience. I think we figured it out one day. We have about 2,000 years worth of experience within our organization, and that's no exaggeration. We have ridiculous amounts of experience. Within our U.S. organization, we have employees who have been here over 40 years. And quality. As I originally started out, quality and price are generally not synonymous, and we have what I consider the highest quality products on the market. Where we started and where SMW Autoblok came from was rotating Workholding products. It was chucks, cylinders. Originally, it wasn't steady rest or grinding products. It was a very commercial product, very readily available, open center, closed centers, unsealed chucks, to the point now where most of what we've, like I said in the past, have developed, or our new developments are all sealed product. If you look at different types of Workholding, you have to look at your application and determine what's going to be best for your application. As I told you in the past, we offer the most extensive line of standard Workholding in the world. We start with quick draw change manual chucks to larger diameter quick draw or manual chucks, all the way up to what we call jaw boxes or boring mill jaws. There's still a large component of our industry that uses boring mills, and what makes our boring mill jaws special is we're sealed, so you don't get coolant swarf and chips packed inside. Closed center chucks, that's kind of what I consider our rope, soap, and dope products. They're basically very little technology. A lot of our new developments, our APs, our NT chucks, things along those lines, are fully sealed. So it's addressing the high pressure coolant situation that we have on every machine in the industry right now. Pretty much comes standard with up to 1,000 PSI. You'll see that we have some specialty chucks along the way. We offer the largest variety of quick draw change chucks in the world. Quick draw change chucks allow for your ability to do a large mix of work with having very quick changeovers. We've created some hybrid quick draw change chucks, some open center power chucks, pull down style chucks, 2+2 style chucks, indexing chucks. I'm not going to bore you with details, but as you'll see as I go through, there's not too much we don't do. We have some very specialized chucks too. We get to our 2+2+2 chucks. If you get into parts that are very fragile or frail and deform or distort very easily, we have a full set of chucks that'll clamp apart down to 20 or 30 thousandths wall thicknesses without distorting the workpiece. We have specialized work holding that utilizes carbon fiber components to keep for thermal stability and for more rigidity within a work holding setup. We have chucks that are specifically suited to turning applications for shafts or crankshafts and camshafts. Just any kind of conceivable variation of work holding. We're one of the largest manufacturers in the world of diaphragm chucks. It's probably a lost art. Gear making is becoming a thing of a lost art. It's, at one point people were sourcing it around the world and going to lowest bidders. Well, people are finding out that doesn't always work. And when you have a high quality product, you have to produce it in a high quality manufacturing environment. And then we offer all sorts of other components too. And again, I'm not going to bore you with details. All I'm going to tell you is as you go through this, you won't see another manufacturer that offers the variety that we offer. We have collet chucks, we have steady rest, we have expanding mandrels, we have grinding components. A lot of this, again, as time has gone on, has been, what do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. Well, we've had customers ask us for things along the way. And when we saw something that we thought had merit or value, we added it as a standard product. We make a lot of specials for people. We never just make one. We had a customer come to us 30 years ago for a special chuck in the automotive industry for making tires. 30 years later, they came when their work holding wore out. And they couldn't believe that we still had 20 of those chucks on the shelf. We had never made them for another customer. So that's just the kind of company we are. We offer a full line of rotating hydraulic cylinders, whether they be open center, closed center, specialty, high-low. There's so many different variations of hydraulic cylinders. Most people think of open center for bar loading, closed center for non-bar loading. Well, there's so many things in between, between high-low cylinders, linear positioning systems to measure movement of stroke in cylinders. We offer all of those things in conjunction with a standard product line. We're the largest manufacturer in the world of front-mounted pneumatic chucks that are generally suited for the oil and gas industry. We go from the lowest technology of just a 3-jaw self-centering air chuck with standard stroke to long stroking product, all the way up to a product that literally does away with the need for shimming. We offer a full line of stationary chucks and a chuck switching system that is self-aligning, self-orienting. No one else in the market does that without requiring special work or special lifting and placement components. As time has gone on, we've seen that, as usual, people, as time goes on in the history of their company, you see a need to expand your product line. Well, we've done it in many different ways. We've done it, like I said, originally through organic growth. We've done it through purchases or from acquiring other companies. Our 0-point systems and some of our manual clamping systems and pneumatic and hydraulic clamping systems are a result of that. We bought a company called OML probably 17 or 18 years ago now, and OML has become part of the SMW Autoblok group of work holding components. OML created a whole line of quick changeover units, whether they be manual or pneumatic. Generally, these units are spring to close, air to open. The manual units are just that, manual. We've progressed up now to newer hybrid units that utilize the 52 and 96 millimeter pin style setups for quick changeover, very similar to some of the larger competitors we have out in the market now, to adapt to those style systems too. We've done some things that no one else has done in that market also. We offer a full line of clamping components, whether it be power vices, pneumatic vices, hydraulic vices, manual vices, whatever the case may be for standard and 5-axis operation. We purchased a company about 5 years ago in the UK called Autoblok. Autoblok they were nothing more than a large manufacturer of aerospace fixturing. They were the only certified manufacturer worldwide for Rolls-Royce engine components, and they were building fixtures for all the Rolls-Royce facilities around the world. Rolls-Royce, like other people, have decided to downsize. They had 2 facilities in the United States, actually 3. They're down to 2 at this point. And Autoblok continues to be the work holding of choice. They also make work holding for automotive applications, hydraulic fixtures, whatever the case may be. When it gets into stationary work holding, as I started to say, there's a variety of components offered. Again, with flexibility in mind, you have to look at your work holding manufacturer and remember that if we don't offer as an industry a variety of work holding to give customers a choice or an option without having to make something special all the time or a dedicated fixture, that's our aim for everything we do. Again, I'm not going to bore you with semantics of what the line is comprised of. If you have an interest, you're welcome to reach out after this, and we'll be happy to send you information. Just to give you an idea of, again, Autoblok's progression into the dedicated fixtures, we have a full series of fixtures designed and building also in southern Italy at a place called Potacciato, which is a very specialized facility for us that is going to in the future make specialized work holding for turning, milling. They're going to make special chucks. It's something we've avoided in the past, but I believe we will get into as the future goes on. One of the products in our product portfolio is live tooling. We do not import that in the United States. It's imported through a company called Von Ruden Manufacturing out of Buffalo, Minnesota. Von Ruden does a very good job of marketing not only our product, but their own, and they rebuild and stock our full product complement in the United States. Just to give you an idea of kind of some of the different products that they have. Autoblok. Autoblok is the company that invented ID mandrel clamping. We purchased Autoblok a few years ago. Our French subsidiary purchased Autoblok, the assets of Autoblok. Autoblok is the company that not only invented the ID expanding mandrel, they also were one of the early adopters and early creators of diaphragm chuck technology, as well as grease arbors, sliding jaw mandrels, whatever the case may be, static mandrels, pullback mandrels, sliding jaw mandrels, whatever the case, whatever your needs are, we make from just a standard off the shelf component all the way down to a high precision, very specialized component. Part of the product line that Autoblok presented to us was expanding mandrels for mounting between centers. It's something we never had in the past. It's very popular in grinding. Self-clamping mandrels, as you apply pressure or hydraulic force, they're either spline driven or ID driven off of a ground bore. Again, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. I'm not going to sit here and read a screen to you guys. The one thing that they do have, and something that we have multiple versions of within our organization, is quick work holding changeover systems. They make a little more basic system that's just as accurate as our CCS system. Our Italian parent company makes a power version of this that you can do power changeovers. Most of these systems are manual right now. And we have also a full line of special application style for work holding. Probably our most recent acquisition was Tecnomagnete. Tecnomagnete was the largest manufacturer and actually the inventor of permanent magnetic work holding, whether it be in milling chucks, lifting technology. They have a full line of stamping and molding, quick changeover, injection molding machine changeovers, and heavy duty lifting systems. We sell in the United States the machine tool work holding magnets and the light lifting or hand controlled and battery lifters. The other things are very specialized and require a specialized distribution network. Again, just to give you some ideas, a lot of people look at magnets and think, oh, if I have a lot of small components. No, magnets are meant for very large components, very small components, components that have surface problems where they are harder to adapt to surface flatness and capabilities. We make a full line of accessories that work with these. We've created a hybrid version of this that actually has a 3-jaw chuck and a grinding magnet or a turning magnet built in to the same unit. So you can first operation on a magnet, second operation 3 jaws to do your finishing operations. Again, the whole reason behind this presentation is to talk about picking the right work holding and the ability to pick the right work holding vendor. I will tell you this: we have some very, very formidable competition in the world. You all know who they are. It's a fairly well-known fact. We have 3 major competitors in the world, and we all make quality products. I'm not going to take away from my competition. They all make good quality. They all have the highest of integrity. We all compete in a very small arena, but I've always said there's a certain piece of the pie. There's enough pie for everybody as long as we all play the game fairly. We actually have good enough relationships with a lot of OEMs. If we see them working on a project that they started, we'll generally try not to muddy the waters, and we get the same from our competition. Where my whole point to this was make sure your work holding vendor of choice has worldwide service. There's nothing more frustrating than having a chuck go down and stopping a $2 million piece of equipment from operating because you're missing a bolt or a jaw or a T-nut. Make sure that your manufacturer has inventory in the United States to support what you purchase from them. When we buy a product from our factories, we make sure that we have a full complement of spare parts in stock for every product that we sell. Again, headquarters is in Italy. The Germans like to think that the headquarters are also in Germany, but again, any of you that have any dealings with German companies, they're great. They have innovative products. They're very, very high technology. They're also never wrong, and I'm making a joke. You'll see our European offices. We have offices all over Europe. Actually, just for maybe a political message, our Russian offices have since been closed. We are no longer going to do business in Russia. At this point, we don't see a need. We don't see a necessity to support that. As I said, our Chinese operation specifically supports our Chinese market. India is the same way. Taiwan's the same way. We do not bring product in from Asia into our markets here. The only Asian product that comes into our markets is out of Korea, out of Korea and Japan, and it comes in on OEM machines from our factories. So a lot of factories will buy our chucks or our cylinders and mount them at the factory level on their products. And it just helps us to make people understand why our quality is better than everyone else's. With that being said, the last part of my presentation basically is to talk about service and maintenance of your work holding components. If you don't maintain your work holding components, you will find that your work holding components do not maintain themselves. You will find that at some point, you're going to have catastrophic failure, and without having service or support locally or in the country that you're working in, it's not going to help you get back up and running quickly. And that's what's very important at this point. You have to look at your ability to support the product that's been purchased and used in your facility and your ability to keep that product up and running. Like I said, originally, we have a full service department internally. We offer whether it be preventative maintenance, whether it be in your plant, sending it back here to be repaired. We have a full repair staff internally that does nothing all day but repair chucks. That's in both of our locations, whether it be in Texas or here in Illinois. Our headquarters is in Wheeling, Illinois, center of the country. We do have a service center in Conroe, Texas, for our oil and gas customers. With that being said, I know this is kind of a shorter presentation. I usually go about 45 minutes. I try not to bore you because this is much more of a commercial presentation than anything else. And what I'll say at this point, if you have any questions, please feel free to either put them in your chat, and we'll be happy to answer questions that you have moving forward. Or if you have questions moving forward from this, please just feel free to reach out. Probably the easiest way to get a hold of us is through our website at www.smwautoblok.com. I even go so far in this presentation as to say, I give out my personal email. My email here at the SMW Autoblok, and I always say this buck stops here. As president of our commercial division, I'm kind of the face of the company, and not that that's a pretty face or what you should consider eye candy, but at the same point, I am the person that most people identify with this company, and my email address is L as in Larry, Robbins, ROBBINS as in Sam, at SMW Autoblok, AUTOBLOK.com. Or you're always welcome to reach out to my cell phone at 313-520-0737. What I say to people is I always try and walk the walk and talk the talk. I say to people, my phone is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've had people call me on it at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I happily answer my phone because there's nothing worse for a customer than to be down and have no support in the middle of the night. And sometimes just a friendly voice is all you need to walk you through an issue in a situation. With that being said, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out right now. And if not, I'm sure Jake will forward those to me in the future, and I'll answer those questions for you. And Jake, with that being said, again, I could have droned on for 2 hours about other things. And, I know we've done a lot of presentations about electronics, and I was going to spend a little time on that, but I think it's kind of mixing technologies. Just to give you all a little idea, we'll probably do another one of these early next year, and we have a full complement of electrically actuated non-contact transference of power and data work holding complements, whether it be in turning, milling, and soon to be in fixturing and dedicated work holding. So with that being said, I appreciate the opportunity to discuss work holding with you all today. And if you have any questions, I've been doing this for 43 years or 42 years. There's nothing else that just makes me old. And at the same time, I guess it makes me a little wise. Not wise ass, wise. So with that being said, I truly appreciate the opportunity for you all to give me your time. Thank you for your time and energy. And if there's anything you need, please feel free to reach out to us.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Larry, once again. And thank you to SMW Autoblok.
Dave, thank you. And thank you, everyone, for your time and energy. Have a great day.
You can listen to all of our episodes of Manufacturing Matters and Lunch and Learn podcast from the MFG Radio Network on Spotify, Apple Music, and on our websites, todaysmedicaldevelopments.com, aerospacemanufacturinganddesign.com, defenseandmunitions.com, and evdesignandmanufacturing.com.